We are live. What's up, everybody? Welcome in. It's a special edition of Orioles Weekly. We're going a little bit early. I know I was going to go at 6, but we're going to go at 5:30 today. Lots of big news to talk about in the world of baseball as the Major League Baseball trade deadline will stop at 6 p.m. tonight, Eastern Standard Time. That is 5 p.m. 5:30 p.m. right now, so we are about a half an hour away from the trade deadline coming to a close, and already there has been so many different trades going on in the world of baseball. It's been amazing just how many people have been moved in baseball. So many so that I'm not going to discuss every single trade, but I am going to discuss a lot of them, and of course I'll discuss in more detail the 3 trades that the Orioles made, because obviously that's who we talk about most here are the Orioles. But welcome in, John AB. Welcome in. Chris Slemmer's here. Daniel Berry Sports. Welcome in. Good to have you. Yeah, Chris, lots of moves. We're going to talk about all of them to an extent. I'm going to really hone in on the Orioles and how I think these trades affect them and what it's going to mean for the roster moving forward. I don't know that it's going to be a real busy day for them right now. I think some of the moves that they've talked about today are going to be what I call just short-lived moves until they're ready to go. Slyster, welcome in. Good to see you. Good to have everybody in here. Yeah, it's really busy, to be honest with you. I was kind of surprised with how many trades they actually had going on in reference to this. But we're going to get into it. Before we even get started, if you're watching a replay, first off, thanks for watching the replay. I appreciate you coming in at any point in watching. If you're here now, be sure to hit that like button. Very important that we get the like up. We are looking to get to, where is it? I always like to say this. There's our like goal of 40 likes. Hopefully we will get to that goal. And there's our sub goal. Our sub goal is not going to be 825, as we are well past that at this point. Actually, I don't even know what our sub goal is. So you know what? I'm not even going to worry about it. We're just going to take that off of there. But that's our goals. Like right there. That's our like goal is 40. So let's see if we can hit that tonight. Anyway, welcome in everybody. Let's say hi to everybody again. John's here. AB's here. Chris Slemmer. Daniel Berry Sports is here. Slyster's here. We need a right-handed hitting outfielder also, I think. You know, I don't know that the Orioles are going to do that. I really don't. I think they're going to rely on what they have. You know, Santander is a switch hitter. I don't know that they're going to go that route because I think they're going to try their best to put Kjerstad out there. Mullins and Kalser and Santander are going to be your 4 outfielders for the rest of the season. If they go get, they have Pache. I think if they're going to go out and get a right-handed hitter, who is the guy that's not going to play? Is it going to be Kjerstad? Is he going to go to the bench? I think that's a mistake. His raw power potential is needed in the lineup. Does he go to DH? If he DHs, what happens to O'Hearn? Does O'Hearn go to first base? No, because you got Ryan Mountcastle. You're going to want his righty bat in the lineup. You know what, Slyster? Here's the thing. I don't know that Skubal or Snell will be moved at all because, for one, we're going to talk a little bit about a trade that just went down. Actually, we'll get into that trade first. I want to. It's important that everybody understands the premium on pitching in this league right now is at maybe its highest level. And I'll give you I'll give you an idea of what I mean by that. We're going to talk about the most recent trade that just went down. So the Miami Marlins traded Tanner Scott to the San Diego Padres for the Padres' number 2, number 4, number 5, and number 24 prospects for a reliever in Tanner Scott, he's not like this great reliever that's been around baseball for 5, 6, 7 years and has this great track record of being this dominant reliever. It's Tanner Scott, for crying out loud. He was with the Orioles 2 years ago and wasn't doing anything. So they traded away their 2nd, their 4th, their 5th, and their 24th prospect. So 3 of their top 5 prospects were traded for Tanner Scott. So what do you think teams like Detroit and Chicago or whoever were going to ask for Blake Snell, Garrett Crochet, and Tariq Skubal? They were going to ask for either Holiday and Mayo or Holiday and Basayo, or Basayo and Kirkstad, they were going to ask for 2 of the top 4 prospects in the Orioles farm system. And the Orioles didn't have to do it. They went out and got a guy like this. They went out and got a guy, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, and he'll fit right in. So I think you got to be careful with that. Always remember, when you trade guys away, when you trade for people, you've got to give somebody up. And a lot of times, who does everybody want? They want your best. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's the best move for the Orioles. Ravori Sports Podcast, welcome in. Too much for Trevor Rogers. I disagree. And Ravori, I'll talk about it here. Actually, you know what? We'll get into it here. We'll get into it first thing. Let's talk about some of the trades. So we'll start with the most recent trade. Just a few hours ago, the Orioles traded away. Let me pull it up. I'm sorry. For Trevor Rogers, it's a left-handed starting pitcher. They traded Connor Norby and Kyle Stowers to the Miami Marlins for Trevor Rogers. Trevor Rogers is a left-handed starting pitcher. Now, in the year, in 2021, he was second place in Rookie of the Year. Had a really good season. Then he was hurt. He didn't play much last year. He's got like a 4.5 ERA this year. I understand the move. Here's why I don't have a problem with this trade. For one, he's a left-handed starting pitcher, is exactly what we needed. We needed a left-handed starter. Plus, you get him for 2 more years. You've got 2 more years of team control. So he's a lefty, just like Tarik Skubal, and you got 2 more years of team control, just like Tarik Skubal, Tarik, whatever you want to say, just like Skubal. That's what they were looking for. They were looking for someone who they could have team control for more than just this year. Obviously, he's not Tarik Skubal. But think about what you gave up for this guy. Kyle Stowers' number. We'll start with Kyle Stowers. Stowers is not going to play for the Baltimore Orioles, period, ever, unless there were injuries. Where was he on the totem pole in reference to starting outfielders? You have Santander, you have Mullins, you have Cowser, you have Kirkstad, you have, who else am I missing? I'm missing somebody. You have also Honeycutt, who they just drafted. Enrique Bradfield is coming. You have outfielders. I don't feel like Kyle Stowers was going to play for the Baltimore Orioles, period. So I thought he was a giveaway in this. I thought he was a guy he's going to play well, but I don't see the fit here in Baltimore. I just don't. I don't see where he was going to play much at all with the Orioles. Now we'll get to Connor Norby. Really good player. I think he's got a real big upside in the majors. But again, everybody else, for some reason, and it still boggles my mind, has soured on Jackson Holiday. Everybody's upset about trading Connor Norby, but everybody wants to get rid of Jackson Holiday. It makes no sense to me. Norby hasn't shown me anything. He hasn't shown anything. He's been a little bit better than Holiday was, but he didn't have the pressure Holiday had when Holiday came up. So here's my thing about Norby. Norby is blocked just as much. Where's he going to play? Kobe Mayo is going to play ahead of him. Westberg, Gunnar, Jackson Holiday. All of these guys are going to play ahead of him. He's not going to play. Where is he going to play? Is he going to be a super utility guy? He's better than that. So the Orioles did what they had to do. They packaged him to a team to get a left-handed starter. I don't have a problem with it. I don't think it was too much for Trevor Rogers. I think Trevor Rogers has got a lot of upside. And I think coming here, getting away from the Marlins, who are a terrible team, he's coming to a pennant team. He's a left-hander, so that means he's going to face a lot of righties. And with that right field wall at Camden Yards, which is now made it a pitcher's ballpark, I think it's going to play to his advantage. Just my opinion. Slicer says, right, they're asking for what Elias is not giving up. I see your point, AB. Did AB put a point in there? I didn't see it. I'm going to pull something up. So that's my thing. Dog Training Plus, welcome in right now. The starting infield has Urias with Westberg at second. Is that going to be good enough the rest of the year? Or are they calling up... I'm sure, to be honest with you, I think Kobe Mayo or Jackson Holiday will get the call up. Because I agree with you. I don't want Urias playing every single day. Westberg at second is great. That's no problem there. He's going to be an upgrade. He is. I'm sorry. He's an upgrade over Connor Norby. He's proven himself. So I don't have a problem with that. So that's an upgrade to me. And then I think Kobe Mayo probably will get the call. Taron Vavra got the call for now, but I don't think that's going to be long term. I don't think the O's gave up much being they weren't going to play much. And that was just my point. I just didn't see where these guys were guys that were going to play much at all, period. I just didn't. I didn't see long-term where they were going to play for the Orioles. And look, if Connor Norby and Kyle Stowers blow up in Miami and do great, that's great. That's fine. If this guy comes in and does well for the Orioles, then I still think it's a good trade. It was the move that had to be made. They needed one more starter, and they didn't have to break the bank to go out and get a guy that's got good stuff, good command, and can get better. And he's still really young. He's only been in the league 3 years. I get the move. Yeah, Mullins probably for just one more year, Dog Training Plus. I agree, probably. Welcome in, John Messina. Welcome in. Good to have you here. And I think so. I think Mayo could come up. Yeah, and that's just my opinion. I think it frees up for those guys to come up here and possibly play. But I got to give kudos, and we're going to go over it in a minute here. But anyway, so that's the trade. I'd like to trade for the Orioles. It does sting because we gave up 2 good players. But Stowers doesn't sting to me because Stowers wasn't playing anyway. He just wasn't. He wasn't playing. Every time they'd call him up, 5 days later, they'd send him back down. They'd call him up, they'd send him down. They'd call him up, they'd send him down. It's like it's home. They call him up, send him down. He wasn't staying. He wasn't sticking in the major leagues. So it is what it is on him. Norby, okay, he stings a little bit, but you got to give up something to get something. So I like the move. The other trades that the Orioles made, we're going to get into those in a minute, but I want to talk about some of these other trades that I thought were really, really interesting. Around the league, A.J. Puke from the Marlins went to the Diamondbacks for prospects. This was earlier. These were some of the earlier trades. You have, who was it? Randy Arozarena from Tampa Bay went to Seattle for prospects. They got prospects number 12 and number 22 prospects from Seattle for Randy Arozarena. Isaac Paredes, also with Tampa Bay, got traded to the Cubs for Christopher Morel. An infielder, Hunter Bigby, their number 29 prospect, and right-handed pitcher Ty Johnson. Jason Adams, another Tampa Bay Ray. So the Rays are trading everybody. He went to San Diego for Dylan Lesko, who was the number 3 prospect with the Padres. So the Padres are trading away all their big prospects. Homer Bush Jr., who was their number 8 prospect, and C.J.D. Gonzalez, their number 12 prospect. That's unbelievable. So the Marlins gave up, and just today, they gave up their number 2, their number 3, their number 4, their number 5, their number 8, their number 12, and their number 24 prospects. Wow. The Padres have given up a ton of stuff. That's unbelievable what the Padres have given up. They are all in, folks. They're going for it. I mean, that's just, I think it's crazy, but they're going for it, I guess, because they're giving up everybody. So Jason Adams to San Diego again for their number 3, number 8, number 12 prospects. Jazz Chisholm, of course, went to the Yankees. The Yankees gave up nothing for him. Agustin Ramirez, their catcher, Jared Cerna, and Abraham Ramirez. They're both infielders. Carson Kelly from Detroit, he went to the Rangers for Liam Hicks and Tyler Owens. Jesse Winker of the Nationals went to the Mets for prospect Tyler Stewart. Carlos Estevez, I didn't even know Carlos was on the trading block. Carlos from the Anaheim went to the Phillies for George Klassen and Samuel Aldogari. I can't say his name. Dan Jansen of Toronto went to the Red Sox for Cutter Coffey. He's a pretty good pitcher. I'm actually surprised they gave up on him. Nick Mears from Colorado went to the Brewers for Bradley Blaylock. Yimi Garcia, another Toronto Blue Jay, went to the Mariners for Jonathan Clase and Jacob Sharp. Nate Pearson, another Blue Jay, went to the Cubs for Pinango and Josh Rivera. James Paxton, who, of course, as you guys all know, I did a video on him. I really thought the Orioles were going to take a shot at him. He went to the Red Sox, I think, for cash considerations from the Dodgers. Hunter Harvey, remember him? Former Oriole. From the Nationals, went to Kansas City for Caden Wallace and a competitive balance A pick. Here's another big one. I actually was surprised with this one. All right, Chris, I'll talk to you later, buddy. Thanks. Go have dinner. We'll be here. Sylvester says, I'm believing that most teams have exhausted their moves, being that time is counting down. Now, remember, we'll talk about that. Let me stop for a minute with where we are. Remember, if you're in the middle of talking about a trade, let's say it's 5:58, and you are in the middle of talking about a trade, you can finish that talk past 6 o'clock. So it might be 5:58, and you're about to agree to a deal with the Orioles and the Tigers, let's just say. If you announce, even if it's 6:05, the trade was happening before 6 o'clock, it still counts. So take that into consideration. Melissa Mouse Talk, my wife, is here. Good to see you, dear. All right. So, again, we talked about Hunter Harvey. This one was a big one. I'm actually surprised with this one. Yusei Kikuchi from Toronto. Real good left-handed pitcher. The Orioles have had trouble with him. He went to Houston for Jake Bloss, which was their number 9 prospect. Will Wagner, their number 13 prospect. And Joey Laperfido. Eric Fetty. Now, this was a 3-team trade. This one was really, really interesting. This is an interesting trade right here. So, it was a 3-team trade between the Cardinals, the White Sox, and the Dodgers. Now, Eric Fetty of the White Sox and Tommy Pham went to the Cardinals. The Dodgers get Michael Kopech from the White Sox, Tommy Edman and Oliver Gonzalez from the Cardinals, and the White Sox get Miguel Vargas, Gerald Perez, Alexander Albertus, and a player to be named later, or cash from the Dodgers. So that's what I really like about this trade deadline, is when these general managers can swing these trades like this. That's a smart trade. Get a third team involved that's going to help get you what you want to help incorporate some other guys involved. I think it's smart. And that's a big trade. And that's really a trade, in my opinion, that's going to help the Cardinals, because the Cardinals are in this. They have a shot. They're trying to do some stuff too. So that's a great trade. Getting Eric Fetty and Tommy Pham to the Cardinals, that's going to help them. Alex Cobb went to Cleveland from San Francisco. Remember Alex Cobb used to play for the Orioles a long time ago. He went to them. That just happened. Alex Cobb went to the Guardians, and the Giants in return get Jacob Bresnahan and a player to be named later. So trades are happening across the board, and we expected it to happen. And there's just been so many different trades this past week. It's been mind-blowing to see how many guys have been traded. And teams have said, you know what, we're going for it. Either they say they're going for it, or they're like, you know what, we're out of it. Tampa really was a surprise to me, because that's a team, in my humble opinion, that still is in the race here. 16 likes, guys. Hit that like button. We're trying to get to 40. But again, let's go over that trade one more time with the Orioles. I want to bring some stuff up here, and we'll talk about it again. So we got Connor Norby, and we got Kyle Stowers. Let me make Stowers a little bit smaller here. He shouldn't be that. To the Orioles, and in return, or from the Orioles to the Marlins, and in return, the Orioles get Steve Rogers. Just kidding. Not Steve Rogers. I'm just kidding, everybody. Trevor Rogers. Again, I like the trade. I think the trade is a good one for the Orioles. Just my opinion. I think it works out. I understand. It is tough to see guys like Norby here. This guy right here, Norby, and even Stowers to a lesser extent. It's sad to see them go, but again, you got to give up something to get something. And I think it's the right move for the Orioles. I think they're gonna be sad to see these guys go. But Fetty has been really good in the past. I'll try to bring you up some numbers on Fetty here so you guys can see it. Again, in 2021, he was second place for American League Rookie of the Year, or National League Rookie of the Year. So the guy's got numbers. I'll bring them up here. Oh, that's Paxton. I'm sorry. I gave you guys the wrong guy. Let's see if I can find Fetty's numbers here for you so you can see them. I don't want to show you Paxton. But let me know what you guys think in the chat. I want to know. What do you think? Bad move for the Orioles? Good move for the Orioles? I like the move personally. Just my opinion. I think it's better for the Orioles. But I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think. And, of course, the Orioles made 2 other moves. This was their biggest move of all of them. But they did make 2 other moves. They also traded for, and I'll bring him up here in a minute, Zack Eflin from Tampa Bay. And I think this was a good move for the Orioles as well. Again, trying to shore up the rotation. And not only that, Eflin, they traded Zack Eflin from Tampa Bay to the Orioles for Mac Horvath, the Orioles' number 10 prospect, Jackson Barmeister, the Orioles' number 17 prospect, and Matthew Etzel, an outfielder. I like this move again for the Orioles. You're bringing in an established rotation guy who can be middle to back of the rotation. He's definitely a number 3 guy. I think can be as high as a number 2, who doesn't walk batters, has very good control, does have some playoff experience, and he's good. And I think he'll help the Orioles. I really do. For guys that probably aren't going to play for the Orioles. Again, I think it's a good trade for the O's, helps solidify the rotation. And then not only that, with Eflin, he has another club option for 2025. So the Orioles don't have to get rid of him next year. If they choose to keep him, he'll be paid $18 million. But they have an $18 million club option for next year on Eflin. So you could start next year with Grayson Rodriguez, Eflin, and Rogers. Not the best rotation, I get it. But anyway, it happens. All right, so I want to see here if another trade just went down with the Orioles. Let's make sure. Anyway, all right, let me get back to this. Sorry, guys. So I like the trade for Zack Eflin. I think it helps solidify the rotation. I mean, you're going into the playoffs now. You can go into the playoffs with Corbin Burnes, Grayson Rodriguez, and Zack Eflin as your 1, 2, and 3, with Kramer and Rogers in the back end. I like it. I don't think it's a problem. So it looks like I'm getting some breaking news on a possible other trade for the Orioles here. Let's see if I can have this come up. I don't see any news on this yet, but I'm getting somebody's in my ear telling me that the Orioles just made another trade, but I'm not seeing it on the board. So I don't see anything yet about this trade. I'm going to wait on it as we talk about all the other stuff. We'll come back to that in a minute. I don't see it. Revori Sports says it seems like they up more for Rogers than Eflin. They did. I do. I think they did. I definitely do. Yeah, you gave up your number 5 prospect and Kyle Stowers for Rogers. I would tend to agree with you. I feel like they gave up more for him than they did for Eflin. But that being said, Rogers is a left-hander, and they really needed a lefty. And lefties are hard to come by. Baltimore Orioles are finalizing a deal to acquire outfielder Eloy Jimenez. I don't even know who that is. Phillies acquired Tanner Scott. No, I don't think so. I thought Tanner Scott went to the Padres. Did I read that? Did I read that wrong? No, Padres got Tanner Scott. Unless they just turned around and traded him to the Phillies, the Padres got Tanner Scott. But again, I'll look it up here in a minute. All right, so they're saying here that the Orioles are acquiring Eloy Jimenez from the White Sox. That's being reported. I don't know. It hasn't been made official yet by the Orioles, so I have to come back to that. But here's a guy. He's only got 229 at-bats this year. So we'll have to see. There's your right-handed outfield bat. Somebody said earlier the Orioles need a right-handed bat. There he is. He's got 5 home runs on the year with 16 RBIs. He's batting .240. He's got a negative .07 WAR, so I don't quite understand the point to that. But I guess we'll have to see as we get a little bit closer as to the reason and what the Orioles gave up. Jeff Snook, welcome in. Hey, Walt, do you think Norby and Stowers would have been enough to get Snell? No, I don't. Because if it would have been, the Orioles would have done it. I don't think so. No, not at all. If that's all it took, Jeff, to get Snell, they would have done it. No, it's going to take a lot more than that. I don't think Snell or Skubal or Crochet are going to go anywhere. And to be honest with you, Crochet probably won't because he shot himself in the foot with his comments. Jeremy Weingart, welcome in, buddy. He said, I'd guess that Eloy would be a DH. His defense is atrocious when healthy, but he is a right-handed bat with some power. Some power. But again, if you're going to DH him, where are you going to play? I guess he's going to play against righties, and O'Hearn's going to play against lefties. Tanner Banks. Okay, guys, yeah. Hopefully they didn't give up too much for Eloy. No, I wouldn't think they did. I personally don't think they gave up anything that we're going to have to worry about. I hope not. I don't think he should be the DH, personally. I don't understand that move. I don't know if that's a depth move or what. But I just don't understand it. I guess we'll get more on it soon enough. But I don't know exactly what they're giving up. Let's see here. Trade news: Orioles are finalizing a deal to acquire Eloy Jimenez from the White Sox. Sources say he's only 27. Jimenez hit 240 over 65 games. He's been able to play, though he obviously has hit a good bit more than in the past. It's just the injuries. It's such an extreme level that I don't know how you could actually count on him to make starts over a long stretch. I agree. So I don't really understand the move. But I don't know what they gave up to get him. So I'd like to know what the Orioles had to give up to get this guy. Until we know that, it's hard for me to really say. But I guess they're going to work him into this lineup somewhere. So we'll see. Yeah, and I don't really expect him to play the outfield. Obviously he is. He's going to DH a lot. He's going to be your right-handed DH. And I guess O'Hearn's going to be the left-handed DH or first baseman. Hey, Randall, welcome in. Totally disappointing trade season again with the third-rate retread players. Does nothing to improve the team. See, I disagree. I don't think it does. I don't think it does nothing to improve the team. I think Zack Eflin and Rogers are much better than Suarez and Cade Povich. I disagree with that. And not only that, I've said this 1,000 times. You can go out and trade your best prospects and go get a Tariq Skubal or get a Garrett Crochet. It doesn't mean or prove anything. It doesn't mean you're going to win the World Series. I mean, how many times in the past, we've talked about this ad nauseum. The Atlanta Braves for 15 years had the best pitching staff in all of baseball. They had Maddox, they had Glavine, they had Smoltz, they had Avery, they had Denny Nagel. They had everybody. How many World Series did they win in 15 years? 1. So it doesn't guarantee that you're going to win. And that's the important thing is you want long-term success. Now, look, they had long-term success. I get it. I think the Orioles are in a good position. I think they made the right moves. Just go out and get good pitching. You don't have to have great pitching. The Texas Rangers proved that you don't have to have great pitching to win a World Series. They did it last year. Just my opinion. They didn't. Jordan Montgomery, he's terrible this year. He's got like a 6.5 ERA. Nathan Eovaldi's good, but he's not an ace. Is he an ace? Max Scherzer wasn't great last year for them. He used to be an ace, but he's 40. So I don't know. I'm sorry. No, Crochet's not going to get traded. Hey, what's up, Victor? Welcome in. Anyway, G. Wilson, what up, G? Welcome in. Still one of the best pitching rotations ever. I agree. It is, G. Wilson. It is one of the best, it's one of the greatest pitching rotations ever. But it doesn't guarantee a title. You still got to have guys that can hit. You got to go out there and you got to perform. When it's your time, it's your time. So I don't know. I think the Orioles are better with these trades. I don't think that the people they've given up are guys that are going to hurt them, especially in the here and now. But we'll see, you know. Showing how a team goes home early in the postseason again. Randall, might happen. I have no clue. But again, the Orioles last year, it was their first time in the postseason for the majority of those players on that team. Those guys now have a year of experience under their belt. They've been to the postseason now. I disagree. I get it. You're upset. You wanted to land one of the big names. But nobody's getting one of the big names. Nobody is getting one of the big names. None of those guys have gotten traded to this point. Skubal, Crochet, Snell are all still with their teams. Nobody has traded for them. So that should tell you something. Now, if you want to be upset because Skubal gets traded to the Yankees or goes to the Dodgers or Crochet goes to the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Red Sox and the Orioles just didn't make a play for him, then I get it. But you know they were looking into this. But they're not going to mortgage the entire future on something that might or might not work in their favor. I understand it. Jackson Holiday removed from the lineup in Norfolk tonight. Flaherty to the Dodgers. Yep, Jack Flaherty went to the Dodgers. That's a good move for the Dodgers. I think that helps them. I think that's a good move for them. I think he'll come in and help their rotation. I love it. I love it. I don't love the moves the Orioles have made, but I do like the moves the Orioles have made. I do. I like the moves. So it says here, on a busy trade deadline day, the Orioles swung one of the bigger deals by acquiring outfielder Eloy Jimenez from the White Sox, a source told Major League Baseball's Mark Feinstein. The clubs have not confirmed the move. Though Jimenez has been hampered by injuries throughout his 6-year big league career, he has shown flashes of the great hitter he can be when healthy. He was a Silver Slugger Award in 2020 and finished 4th in the Rookie of the Year voting in 2019. This season, Jimenez's numbers are down across the board, but the O's hope they can bring out some of his pop and pair him in a dangerous lineup alongside Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Anthony Santander. But it still doesn't say exactly what the Orioles gave up. Now, from what I'm hearing is that they're saying that it was more of a salary dump for the White Sox. That they did it more of like as a salary dump to take and get rid of him. I don't know. I guess we'll find out soon enough. But we'll see. I mean, Eloy Jimenez he hit 31, 14, 10, 16, 18 home runs. 79, 41, 37, 54, 64 RBIs. He's a lifetime 270 hitter, so he gets on base. He struck out 134 times his first season. He never struck out. He never struck out over 100 times again. So we'll see. I don't know what that guy does for the Orioles. He might help. Was surprised the Orioles haven't moved on a closer. Again, look at Tanner Scott, the closer for the Miami Marlins. Look what the Padres had to give up to get Tanner Scott, who in my opinion is unproven and is fine, but he's not great. They gave up their number 2, their number 4, their number 5, and their number 24 prospect for Tanner Scott. That's nuts. That is nuts. Imagine what any of these other teams would have wanted. So, in other words, with that being said, if the Orioles had done and gone out and got Tanner Scott, okay, right now, the Orioles would have had to have given up to get Tanner Scott. Hold on, I'll tell you exactly. Just listing this way. This is why you really have to think about these moves, okay? Hold on, I'm going to bring it up for you. So the number 2 prospect for the Orioles is Samuel Basallo. The number 4 prospect for the Orioles is Enrique Bradfield. The number 5 is Dylan Beavers. Now again, that's now updated because all these guys are gone. Okay? So you would have gave up Basallo, Bradfield, Dylan Beavers, and Frederick Benscombe, possibly, for Tanner Scott. No thank you. I'm not giving up all that. Mets got Zuber from the Rays. The Mets are making moves. I'm sorry. I don't dislike the moves. Kevin Kiermaier to the Dodgers. Wow, so Kiermaier won't be playing tonight. That's weird. He's retiring at the end of the season. But I don't know. I think it's exciting times. We're going to keep reading about these trades. I'm trying to get back in here and see what else. what we have. Yeah, no other trades. Yeah, the trades are. I mean, we're done. It's 6:02, so it's 6:02 right now. So unless there were trades that were in the making as we were speaking, that's it. The trades are done. The trade deadline has come. The trade deadline has gone. If I have to rate the Orioles from an A plus down to an F, I think I give them a C plus. Not a major big splash, but I think they got 3 pitchers. And I didn't even talk about the other trade. Let's get into the other trade. The Orioles also, of course, traded Austin Hayes away. They traded him to the Phillies for Sir Anthony Dominguez and outfielder Christian Pache. Sir Anthony Dominguez, power pitcher who could close. Jeff, you were just talking about that. Who could close for the Orioles if possible. Had really good postseason numbers last year. He was dominant in the postseason last year. For a guy who's not going to play for the Orioles again. Austin Hayes, he basically became a part-time platoon player. It was a win-win for both teams. But if I have to give the Orioles a grade, I'm going to give them a C plus to a B minus, right about there. No, they didn't go out and get that major pitching arm. But they got 2 starters, a lefty and a righty, veteran starters with good numbers, and they went out and got a big arm, a power arm for the back of the bullpen, and they went out and got another right-handed bat in this guy Jimenez. So for all of that, for what I consider to be Connor Norby and Kyle Stowers, because again, Austin Hayes wasn't going to play here. So I like the moves the Orioles have made. I'm actually going to give them a C. I'm going to give them a B minus on this. I think it's a good day for the Orioles. I think they did what they needed to do to make a deep run in the playoffs. Again, I so many people keep saying to me, oh, they don't have enough pitching to go deep in the playoffs. I disagree. And all you have to do is look at the Texas Rangers last year. That's it. That's all you got to look at. Just look at the Rangers. Heck, look at the Phillies. Look at the Phillies. Look at the Diamondbacks. Who did the Diamondbacks have? Who was the Diamondbacks' best pitcher last year? Who was the Arizona Diamondbacks' best pitcher last year? I'll have to look it up. I think you have to really take a look at it and say, what is it that's going to be needed? And that's my opinion. Just my opinion. Trying to see the roster for the Diamondbacks last year for the pitchers. They had no, I don't know. I don't even nobody. No, so I mean, again, you can have. Again, I'm kind of going out of turn here. I apologize, everybody. I don't know. I just think that there's ways you could go about winning. Just have good enough. You've got an ace. You've got that number 1 guy. You've got the guy that's going to be your ace, your starter, your game 1 starter. You've got him, right? You've got him. That's Corbin Burnes. You've got your game 2 starter who now has experience and can go out there and is ready for the postseason in Grayson Rodriguez. Okay, you don't want Grayson starting game 2? Zack Eflin can start game 2. He has postseason experience. Have Grayson start game 3. And then if you need Rogers, he's there for game 4. Game 5 can come in for length. I think they're fine, folks. What's up, Richard? Richard the legend, R. Johns. Welcome in, buddy. Good to see you. The Jimenez trade, I don't know if I like the trade or not, Victor. I got to find out what they gave up to get him. Is it cash considerations? Is it just a salary dump? Is it a player to be named later? What is it? Orioles got another trade with the Pirates. See, that's what I'm talking about. These trades can happen late. See, I didn't hear about this one. What trade did the Orioles do with the Pirates? Breaking news. I don't know. I got to figure out what that trade is. So Dog Training Plus is saying the Orioles just got another trade with the Pirates. I'd love to hear what that one is. Again, I'm trying to see if Masson is giving us any kind of notification on any of these. Doesn't look like they are right now. No, Masson's not reporting any of these. They reported salary covered by the O's. Right. That's not for Jimenez, though. I mean, yeah, for Jimenez, but what's the Pirates trade? You said there was a Pirates trade. I'm trying to find out. They said Billy Cook for minor league players. I don't know who that is. Who's Billy Cook? Is he with the Pirates? He can't be. I'm trying to see what the roster is for the Pirates. Yeah, I don't see a Billy Cook on there, so you'll have to let me know who that is. I haven't seen that trade come over through. Edward Bowers, welcome in. Good to see you. 74K, my man, welcome in. Jeannie's here as well. Jeannie52573. Welcome in, Jeannie. Good to see you. Good to have everybody in here. Guys, we got 25 likes. We didn't quite make our 40 tonight, but that's okay. But, yeah, I'd like to figure out who the trade was for the Pirates trade. John R., welcome in. I didn't like the Orioles trades. John, I got to disagree. I did. Billy Cook is 25 years old. Owes outfield. Right, okay, Billy. Okay, I know who did the Orioles get, though, from the Pirates? Patrick Riley to the Orioles for second baseman and outfielder Billy Cook. Patrick Riley. All right, let's look up Riley. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Ah, okay. So this is a minor league for minor league player, from what I'm seeing. I think Patrick Riley is also is a minor leaguer, but he's a pitcher. So he looks like he's in their minor league system. Looks like he's in their high A facility. If I'm looking at the right guy. So that one I think is less of a big deal. No, I don't think so, John. I don't know. I tend to think this kid's better than Cole Irvin. I really do. John, I totally get where you're coming from. I understand that comparison. But I think Rogers coming away from the Marlins is going to do better here. I really do. He's a left-handed starter. He's going to help. I like the trade. I don't know. I like the trade. Again, pitching is at a premium. And I think the Orioles traded two guys that weren't going to play a lot here, and they got a guy that they still have 2 more years of control. He's a left-handed starter, and I think they can work with him, and he's going to be fine. I really do. No bullpen arm. Well, John, they got Sir Anthony Dominguez from the Phillies, and he's looked good in his 2 appearances with the Orioles so far. So they did get an arm. They just didn't get. I think with fans, they're really disappointed if they don't get the wow factor of the big move. Then they're not happy for that. All right, so here it is. With about 15 minutes left until the trade deadline, Orioles Executive Vice President, General Manager Mike Elias found his right-handed hitting outfielder to check another box. Eloy Jimenez. The White Sox traded Eloy Jimenez and AAA reliever Trey McGough to the Orioles, and the Orioles have given up. The Orioles are inheriting the remainder of the $13 million salary for Jimenez. The contract also includes club options for 2025, 2026. So Jimenez could be here for a while. Let's see. And the Orioles gave up. Oh, they gave up Trey McGough. Okay, so Trey McGough for Eloy Jimenez. So there you go. And then they also said Jonathan Mayo reported a minor league deal with the Orioles sending Billy Cook to the Pirates for right-hander Patrick Riley. He's 22. He's a 5th-round pick in the 2023 draft out of Vanderbilt. So, yeah, that was a minor league deal. So the Orioles making deals. I like it. I don't know. I like it. I don't love the deals, but I don't hate the deals. I like them. I understand them. The Orioles are getting back established major league talent. They're just, they didn't make the big trade. Nobody made the big trade. Nobody. There's not one trade that was done today or yesterday or this week that, in my opinion, is a, oh my God, game changer. Nobody made that game-changing trade. I think the Orioles did what they had to do. The Orioles acquire outfielder Austin Slater from the Reds. Again, awesome. I'd love to hear, Austin Slater. I'll have to look at Slater, see what his numbers are. Where is he? Is he going to be somebody that's going to play for the Orioles as well? He's not doing much in the way of hitting this year, but he is another right-handed bat, so we will see. He's not young. He's 31 years old, and he doesn't play much, so I don't really, again, I guess maybe it's depth. I don't know what they're doing there, but anyway. All right, guys, so that's my trade deadline show. Wanted to go over everything with you guys. I'm excited for it. I'm not overly excited. We didn't get that major trade that we were hoping to get, but you know what? The Orioles still made some moves. They didn't stand pat this year, and we'll see what it does. I don't know if it's going to be something that's going to be great or not, but none of the big names were traded, so as disappointing as it might be for the Orioles, look, nobody else got these guys either. They're staying put, which means those teams were asking for the world, and nobody was going to trade for those guys. So it makes sense. Anyway, thanks for being here. If you are new here, thank you for coming into the chat and talking. Appreciate you guys very much. Again, I give the Orioles a B- on this trade. I like the trades for the most part. I think they addressed needs, and I think that ultimately we're better than we were. If you look at the pitching staff now compared to what we just had 2 weeks ago, I think the staff is better. And we didn't give up anything that's majorly off of the roster, the 1 to 9 lineup. We didn't give up that much, if really anything, to acquire these pitchers. That's how I see it. But anyway, so thanks for joining me. We'll be back soon. Don't forget, Thursday and Friday you'll have the Hall of Fame profiles coming out. And I'm excited for it. And thanks for being here, guys. Major League Trade Deadline is over. Teams are done. Home stretch time. Here we go. It's a race to the finish. Thanks for joining me. Be sure to like and subscribe. Appreciate y'all being here. And until next time, keep rooting for the O's and take care of yourselves and each other. Bye, everybody. Have a good day. Go O's.